Hello, honorable members of the clan. So, welcome to my YouTube channel, and let's go to the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria, where things are starting to get hot. Exactly what I was waiting for is now unfolding. The names. I was interested in the names of the people that have jeopardized the safety and the sovereignty of this country, and the attempt to turn South Africa into an anarchy. Yeah, the same kind of anarchy that you are going to get in South American countries. Yes, that it was the goal. But as I am listening to General Dumisani Khumalo, it's like I was busy reading a movie script that involves the mafia. And then the question I was asking myself, so what role am I going to play in this movie? Because clearly I am an extra. Somebody said, yeah, when you are an extra, the traditional healer that is always there. The first thing that came to mind was Rafiki of the Lion King. And I'm like, yeah, Rafiki was like, he was a Sangoma, wasn't he? Something like that. Because I come here rubbing my two IQs and trying to make sense of what on earth is going on in this country. Once again, honorable members of the clan, I feel like we should pat ourselves on the shoulder. You know why I'm saying this? Haven't we discussed this before? Haven't we discussed this before? Like, there is something in the air, but one can't necessarily tangibly put one's finger on it and say, oh, this is it. But you can actually tell that something ain't right here. And we have asked questions. We have discussed amongst each other. And then at the end of the day, where we all ended up agreeing on was time. We said that time is the best storyteller of the truth. Here we are, fellow honorable members of the clan. Yeah, we ask these questions because we're trying to make sense of it. Not that we are smart people. There are some people who have degrees, OCRs, and they come here and then they want to exercise their degrees on the channel. I would like to tell you, this channel is about opinions. I don't have to run and do research. It's all what I'm observing, what I'm hearing, and I come and I sit down and I talk about it, even if when I forget names. The point is what we are talking about. If you know the name that I misnamed, hey, you can just comment in the comment section with the respect, like how other people have, and correct me and say, oh, Clantis, it's actually Clantis Dumagude you were talking about. Then I'll be like, oh, thank you for correcting me. I am very much grateful, because I do tend to forget names. I do. Even if you tell me your name, 2 minutes later, I'll be like, oh, by the way, what the person's name again? Not because I'm disrespectful. I forget names, even when you told me. 2 minutes later, it's out of my system. Anyways, we are not about that. So now, guys, as I was saying to somebody, like, I'm interested in the Big Five. It's a conversation I was having with someone at the mall, because thank you guys for coming out over to say hello. I appreciate it. And some of y'all engage me in conversations, which I don't have a problem with at all. And then we're talking about, the question was, who do you think is going to be mentioned? And I said, I am interested in the Big Five. I want to know who the Big Five are or is. Well, I understand that they can't necessarily mention who these people are or what that is all about, because investigations are still ongoing. But at some point, we will get to find out who the Big Five is. And when you are actually learning about the structure and the modus operandi, it feels like I've seen this movie before. It's not the Italian Job either, but it's somewhere along those lines. I mean, you ask yourself this question every time when there's an ATM bombing, when there's a cash cash in transit, and when you are hearing somebody got unalived, broad daylight. Then you like, no, it's either the police are being hired to do this, or they go into jails and they get already convicted criminals that are spending life in prison or they'll never ever get out. But and then they use them to commit these crimes. And then investigators, because we heard how the Big Five penetrated the criminal justice system. And the criminal justice system, for me, it goes as far as it goes beyond the National Prosecuting Authority. I think for me, personally, even though some people say, no, it falls under the judicial system, for me, it's also part of the criminal justice system because it is the first level after the criminal justice system before it gets to the judiciary, in my opinion, the magistrates. The magistrates. And now things are unfolding and they are making sense, and you're like, oh, keep them coming, sir. Keep them coming. Confirm the suspicions that we have had discussions about on this very channel as far back as 2023. Yeah, as far, probably even 2022. Yeah, I've been around on these streets, and I am happy with the community that I have built with you guys, because it's a community of people like myself with two IQs. We rub our IQs together. We don't claim intelligence. I don't think we are intelligent people. We might be smart, but intelligent, we leave that one for intelligent people. But at least we use the little that we've got in our gray matter to ask these questions. So now, when you hear, well, Ken Makala as well as Brian Mukhotsi, those are already the usual suspects that we've been hearing about since July. So I'm not quite surprised with the WhatsApp communication. But the new people, because you need to understand who exactly enabling the cartel that exists in South Africa, whether it's with the Big Five or other cartels. We need to know who are these people that are betraying this country. And when they are going to be charged, with what crime in the Criminal Procedure Act? I hope it's high treason. I hope it is high treason. And I'm not quite sure how high treason is seen in South Africa. Well, if I think of the Boeramag, are they still in jail? Because that happened early 2000. If they're still in jail, okay, then I'm comfortable with the sentence that comes after being found guilty of high treason. Because clearly, like the jail walls are going to fall on you, meaning they never will, so you will die in prison type of situation. And now you are, I don't know if you guys remember, I tried to find the video of a former police officer, or it was a police officer who was doing his duties on a freeway, I think the N3 in KwaZulu-Natal or somewhere in Durban, and then he came across a truck that was carrying what he says looked like white powder. And then all that the driver did was to make a phone call, and then after the phone call, the police officer and his crew gets the phone call, and then he gets asked the question, do you still value your job? He said, yes, I still value. And the person on the other side actually called him by his name, because he did not understand, how does he know my name? How does he know that it's me who, the type of situation? And allegedly, it was a brigadier, if I remember. It was a brigadier or something like that in KwaZulu-Natal. And now you are like, And then the instruction was, if you value your job, you will let that truck go. And the truck drove off with the white powder. Clearly it was coming from the Durban harbor. And now we have to say, at the Durban harbor, who is the guy who lets in these things into South Africa? So this is bigger than we think. I mean, that is why he was saying that the ports of entries, especially the KwaZulu-Natal or Durban, as well as I think Richards Bay or Cape Town, one of the two or two, they are quite important to the Big Five. The Eastern Cape one, but it's easy to move things between Cape Town and Eastern Cape type of situation from Durban or Gauteng. And I'm like, the Italian job type of situation am I hearing? Because this movie feels so familiar to me. Why it's being plagiarized in real life in South Africa. And also the relationships that they need to build for longevity. Meaning, in order for the Big Five to last very long and also expands and grows, you need the connection between politicians. Yeah, that means political leaders. I mean, who has been running this country since 1994? You bloody ANC? Yes, y'all. Y'all. And then you need to also have relationships with the criminal justice system leaders. That means your MPA, MPA, your police, of course, as high you can go. I mean, we remember Jackie Celebi and Italian shoes and all the other gifts that he got. Well, it's no longer allegedly because he was found guilty. And then he did a shabru shake on us, and then, well, with him at least it was real because few months later he was out of here. So, and then the third is business. You need to have a business relationship. And also the part that I found quite interesting is that they would headhunt, but they will not headhunt anybody. If you are a rookie, meaning an amateur, as a police officer, Constable Zungu, you will be promised things that will get you up the ranks very, very quickly. And then I remember a conversation that, in fact, a share that I had on this very channel. I can't remember who the person was. She's been a police officer for over 20 years. And a police officer that came years after her is now up there, and she's still at the entry level 20 years later. And this individual just hopped, and now it's making sense how he hopped all that way to what he is today. He's beyond the captain. I don't know how these things work with the police, the military rankings. I still don't know what the difference between a lieutenant and a lieutenant is. That how they are pronounced? Somebody who in and know, please educate us, because I get confused. Lieutenant, lieutenant. I'm aware of lieutenant. I'd never heard of lieutenant. Anyways, that's not important. So the point that I'm making here is, yeah, honorable clan members, we discussed this. We made sense of this. That also goes with how they smear cases of crimes that people did not commit. Like Mr. Khumalo right now, a certain Khumalo back in 2002 was found to have erred in something as a police officer, and Brian Mukhots was like, let's bring that case and slap it on him so that we move him out of the way. And now it's understandable, or at least we understand why he is in the situation that he finds himself, because around June 2025 at Tambo International Airport, arriving, he got arrested. And as we speak, Dumisani Khumalo is a man that is on bail because Brian Mukhosi is powerful with the police. How a civilian would know all these things we've been asking? High treason much? But who is accountable for that? Oh, Mr. Senzom Tunu's name kept coming up. Guys, everything that I am saying in the video and future videos, as long as these people are not arrested, they are not before a court, and the court has made a pronouncement of guilty or not guilty, these are allegations. However, we're just rubbing our two IQs, trying to make sense of all of this. So the whole point here was to collapse South Africa into ashes. You dared. I mean, look at how Colombia. Look at Colombia. Look at Mexico. Look at Guatemala. Look at all the South American countries that are actually run by the cartels. Yeah, El Salvador, run by the cartels. A president, you will go and do an election, like you go and vote. But the cartels, they already chose their guy. They already did. So democracy is eroded. The law and order is eroded. The rule of law is eroded. The constitution rendered it's as good as on the paper it's written on, and the people are living in fear. I mean, why do South Americans run away from their countries to the US? Ask yourself that. So that was going to be us. And with our track record with our fellow African brothers, I keep saying, I mean, I did say this before, South Africans have nowhere to run away to. Nowhere to run away to, because we are at the tip of Africa. The moment you pack your bags and cameras are rolling with our belongings, the moment you get to Limpopo border, the Zimbabweans will be waiting. I'll be like, Futak! So where do you run away to? The ice island down south, there's an ocean in between with sharks, and we don't do well with body of water. Yes, we are the most cleanest people, but the body of water, especially the ocean, no. And then comes the cold part. We screwed as South Africans. Well, there are South Africans, most of them, that are, how do I put this in a way that, yeah, and how do I put this again? South Africans that they have dual citizenship, and of course, nothing bad will happen to them. Doors will be open wide. I mean, hello, look at what happened in the White House, and people were given a fast-track corridor to citizenship of the United States. Just them. So at least, well, just put me in your luggage. We'll talk when you get to the other side, please, because it's not going to happen for us. So the point is, we gotta fight, guys. We need to push back as the people of South Africa through our votes. Don't bring back the ANC. And I'm waiting for a name. There's a particular name that I am waiting for to be dropped by Dumisani Khumalo, unless this individual is part of the the secret part of his testimony that is going to be done in camera. Because, fake cigarettes, funding of political parties, all of that stuff. And then, you ANC members who've been hard done at elective congresses, did you hear? Yeah, that's how you lose when you get to your congresses. Because the delegates are very well picked, and they are given a mandate when you get there. Who you're voting for the president of the ANC. I mean, hello, when you look at it, you're like, of course, I mean, it's not a train, no, it's not a, what do you call this, a rocket science thing type of situation. You've always suspected this sort of stuff. But yeah, guys, it's getting hot. That's all I'm saying. And you, as a South African citizen, you have the responsibility to protect this country. That is why the support of Operation Dudula is extremely important. I mean, we already know all the other political parties, how they are actually betraying us. And the question is, what is their relationship with the Big Five? Do they have any? We're going to hear in these WhatsApp messages and communications. That's all that I'm waiting for. Or maybe they're going to be part of the secret report. I don't know. Because it's not making sense that you would betray your own people and defend people that are illegally in this country. Why? If you don't have some sort of business interest with them. Got you. We got you. But again, I will leave this video right here. Please put in the comment section, what did you hear that was a highlight for you in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry with Dumisani Khumalo on the stand today, because it was starting to get explosive. And I think tomorrow, all over the show. And there are people already that are mentioned with their lawyers right now. I'm just saying. Anyways, please don't leave the video without liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.